Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. Ako po si Banat Bay at ito na nga medyo masama ang ating pakiramdam at ang ating lalamunan na may halak-halak. Alam niyo ba mga kababayan, nakailang take ako sa intro dahil sa aking lalamunan ay medyo may sabit-sabit ika nga. Adiri ka Banat Bay. Pero ganun pa man, ituloy na natin. Marami naman akong kadamay dyan, may halak-halak kayo ngayon Ewan ko ba bakit ngayong panahon na ito maraming humahalak-halak no? Anyway, eto na nga at bago pala yan isang paalala lamang po, meron po tayong pa-contest dito na tinatawag nating Panoche Buena ni Banat Bay. Yun. Dahil sinabi ng gobyerno na 500 daw ang Noche Buena, nakakahiya naman sa kanila. Yeah? Nakakahiya naman sa kanila dahil ang Panoche Buena yun lang dapat daw ay 500. O ganito na lang para mas maganda. Since ang Noche Buena na pinapalamon sa inyo ng gobyernong ito ay 500, dagdagan ko na lang. Okay? Dadagdagan natin ng 500 GCash. Sa unang tatlong makakasagot ng aking katanungan, araw-araw yan, meron. Yun. So, araw-araw po, namimigay po tayo ng Panoche Buena, di ba, Banat Bay? O, magtatanong tayo. Tapos, yung unang tatlong makakasagot ay may tig 500. Siguraduhin ninyo, tama naman po yung sagot ninyo kasi minsan kulang-kulang. Pag sinabi kong kailangan kumpleto, yun kailangan kumpleto. Okay, abang-abang lang po kayo sa ating tanong dyan para sa Panoche Buena ni Banat Bay. O simulan na natin. Anong sisimulan natin? Good news, bad news? Mamili nga kayo, good news o bad news? Unahin natin muna yung puro bad news kasi. Alam naman sa Pilipinas, nung naupo si Marcos, puro bad news. Di ba totoo? Gago! Mula nung naupo itong presidente na ito, sabi nga nila, di ako naniniwala sa malas pero ang term nila ay nagkamalas-malas ang Pilipinas nung naupo itong si Marcos. Hindi ako naniniwala sa malas, pero naniniwala ako pag ang tao talaga may ginawang masama, magkakamalas-malas ang buhay niya. Kaya ganyan na nangyari sa Pilipinas ngayon, nagkaloko-loko dahil sa kanya. Di ba? Naku kasi naman ikaw, Marcos. Anyway, eto na nga. Simulan na ho natin dito sa issue na merong nag-resign. Diba? Merong nag-resign. Alam nyo ba kung bakit? Naku po. Tama ang hula natin mga kababayan. Tama ang hula natin kung bakit ito pong isang tao na ito ay nag-resign. Tama din pong hula natin mga kababayan na itong ICI ay isang palamuti lamang. Itong ICI for optics sake. Itong ICI ay para lamang masabing, may ginagawa ako para sa korupsyon. Itong ICI for the content lamang ni Jose Claire Castro. Para lang masabi, merong ginagawa si Marcos Ano ba dahilan nitong ICI? Tingnan nga natin, tingnan. Hindi.
Congressman, you're implying, kasi sabi nyo, nagiging washing machine. Yung ICI, you're saying may wina-whitewash sila at selective.
Tapos sila pa yung nagiging punching bag. Sila magiging punching bag. For example.
Yun po ang sinasabi nyo.
Ito kasing isang commissioner, si Singson, nag-resign. Bakit? Magkaibigan to si Singson at itong ini-interview ngayon, nasa telepono na si Congressman Erice. At bago pa magsalita si Singson, binanggit niya na ngayon kung ano talaga ang dahilan kung bakit nag-resign itong si Singson. Pakingge.
Bigyan ko tayo ng specific example.
Okay.
Tinanggal si E.S. Bersamin. Nag-resign si Pangandaman. Tapos si Yusek Cabral. Bakit hanggang ngayon hindi napapatawag?
Yan.
Both the Senate Blue Ribbon and the ICI. So, ito yung mga importanteng witnesses. So, ibig sabihin, kung sino lang yung dumarating sa kanila, yun lang ang dumarating. Diba? Parang gano'n. And they have no control dahil yung mga lawyers, yes. Yung ICI,
Congressman, are you speaking for yourself or are you mentioning the sentiment, yung mga sentimento de sukal po ni Mr. Singson?
No. I am speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself. And I do understand the feelings of Secretary Babes.
Pero sir, binanggit niyo din po
sandali lang, Congressman, ang tinatanong yung si Singson, hindi yung feelings ninyo. Hindi. Sinasabi ko lang yung nararamdaman ng mga reporter. Pero tingnan mo, ito na yung sasabihin niya tungkol sa text nila. Kasi ang sinasabi ni Congressman na kaya ko nararamdaman yan kasi ito yung mga text sa akin ni ni Commissioner Singson. Eto, pakinggan.
Kasi nga doon sa text message, yung text message niya, sabi niya sabi
dito, nakalimutan yung part na yun. Kasi nga, sabi sa text message yon. Kasi nga, kaya nararamdaman nito ni Erice ay dahil doon sa text message ni Singson. Ito na yon.
And why would I sacrifice why would I risk my life and my family just to solve Malacanang's problem?
Ayan. Yun daw yung text sa kanya. Bakit, tatagalogin na lang natin bakit ko i-risk yung buong family ko o para magsasakripisyo ang aking buong pamilya para lamang sa problema kinakaharap ng Malacanang? O na madaling salita ni Marcos, ika nga. Sa madaling salita mga kababayan, sa totoo lang, ang nilagay doon sa apoy para quote-unquote masolve yung problema ng Malacanang ay itong ICI. Pero hindi naman talaga binigyan ng kapangyarihan itong ICI para imbestigahan, ipakulong ang dapat ipakulong. Sa madaling salita, gumawa ang Malacanang ng shock absorber. Alam niyo yung shock absorber? Di ba sa mga sasakyan yung shock, yung ganon. Susunog ata yung niluto ko Sandali nasusunog ata yung luto ko Ituloy natin to, ituloy.
Parang gano'n. Tapos meron pa siya isang text sa akin na wala naman silang support.
Congressman, verbatim po ba yung sinasabi yung text message?
Yes.
Baka pwedeng basahin nila, Congressman.
Medyo mahaba yung medyo mahaba.
Sabi ng mga reporter, ang gulo-gulo mo Pwede ba basahin mo na lang yung text? Hindi, kasi yun ang sinasabi dito. Dahil nga doon sa parang naging shock absorber itong ICI. Sila yung sila yung tumatanggap ng galit ng tao. Sila yung para bagang sinisisi. Pero ang talaga may problema itong Malacanang. Kapabayaan ng Malacanang. Kapabayaan ni Marcos. Kaya nagkaroon ng matinding korupsyon. Period. Tapos, gusto nilang solusyonan kuno, pero hindi naman nila binigyan ng kapangyarihan ng itong ICI. Para bagang ganito. May peste. Alam mo yung peste, yung mga... Basta yung mga peste, lahat ng peste na naninira ng iyong mga halaman sa bahay o di kaya nagkaroon ng mga anay-anay. Tapos, para masolusyonan yung problema sa bahay mo, kumuha ka ngayon ng gagawa. O sino man yung gagawa na yan, yung boy nyo, kung sino man yan. Tapos sabi mo sa kanya, pwede ba pakisolusyonan yan, bahala ka na dyan, ayusin mo yan. Tapos yung boy nyo nag-aabang. Anong gagamitin ko? Suka, kalamansi. Di ba tayo, ang dami natin nang alam pagdating sa mga ganyan. Paglinis-linis, suka, kalamansi, toyo. Ano yan, luluto mo ba yan? Ayop. Di ba? So, nag-aantay siya, bibigyan mo ba siya ng ayos ng mga peste dyan sa bahay mo? Nakaganyan lang siya. Wala. O basta kasalanan mo yan pag hindi mo nasolusyonan yan. Yun na lumalabas ngayon sa ICI. Di ba?
Text message. Pero yun yung pinaka-send.
Kailan to, sir?
Just to solve Malacanang's problems,
Siguro mga 2-3 days ago. Ganyan.
Oh, recent lang. 2 to 3 days ago.
Nagulat
So,
Yeah. Although yung sinabi niya yung tungkol dun sa extra powers, matagal na yun. Sabi niya, doon tutulungan niya kami para kung makakumbinsi si Presidente na ma-certify ito.
So, Congressman, in short, 2 to 3 days ago pa lang, alam nyo na that he will likely resign?
Parang frustrated siya. Hindi ko naman alam na nagulat nga ako na actually dapat I'm supposed to deliver a question of privilege today. So dyan, naunahan na ako ng pagkakataon.
Yung 2 to 3 days ago, sir, if I get you right, yung kanyang text message na where he's saying na bakit niya i-risk yung life niya at ang family niya just to solve Malacanang's problems. Yun po yung 2 to 3 days ago. Okay. Tapos, mas farther back yung walang support. Walang support doon sa legal.
Yung latest niya, kasi sabi ko, baka lumabas dyan, parang washing machine kayo. Sabi niya, hindi lang washing machine, punching bag pa.
Yun.
Wala namang support.
Di ba? Parang washing machine. Hindi lang sabi niya, hindi lang washing machine. Ito si Singson na to nagsabi, punching bag pa. Dito, alam mo, makikita mo yung kawalangyaan talaga ni Marcos dito. Yung katarantaduhan. Sorry for the term, pero talagang hindi lang naglagay siya ng ICI, pero hindi niya binigyan ng sapat na kapangyarihan. Inilagay lang niya doon bilang display para sumalo ng lahat ng galit ng tao. Tapos, wala rin. Para lang masabi. Ibig sabihin, nilagay yung ICI not to give solution or to put solution sa problema. Inilagay lang niya yung ICI para lang, alam mo yun, hindi siya tamaan ng sisi. Ganon kawalang yaho itong presidente natin. Ganon kawalang, alam mo yun, walang kahiya-hiya. Talagang nagbuo pa ng isang ahensya o isang komisyon para lang, alam mo yun, para lang mapagtakpan yung kahinaan niya. Yung kamalian niya, yung kalokohan niya. Ito na yun, binuo pa. Ang problema, kaya nga kita nyo, maalala nyo, sino ba una nag-resign dyan? Si Magalong. Sino pa sumunod? Ito si Singson. Ewan ko yung mga natitira pa dyan, papayag ba kayo na galit ng taong bayan sa inyo na pupunta at sa pamilya nyo dahil wala kayong mga kwenta, wala kayong silbi dyan? Gusto nyo ba na kayo ang sisihin ng taong bayan dahil lang sa walang silbi yung ICI na yan? Lalo na yung isang, ewan ko kung nakawig ba yun? Asikasuhin mo muna yung buhok mo bago mo asikasuhin yung bayan. Ito pakinggan natin itong buong ni Sison.
I'd like to explain that I believe my role was to provide the technical aspects of DPWH process from project identification to implementation, pati yung budget process for both local and ODA, from central office, regional, district, as the implementing office. I thought I'd explain that because yung process na yun, doon nagkaroon ng mga kalokohan. So I had to do that in front of several government agencies like DOJ, OMB, AMLAC, SEC, Central Bank, BIR, BOC, among others. Because otherwise, yung learning curve nila masyadong matagal. So if we're able to explain to them exactly the whole process and where were the loopholes that were taken advantage of. I did the same to Secretary Vince Dizon as he was coming in, together with this new team of senior officials of DPWH. In fact, I think you must have picked it up that myself and Secretary Ping, we spent the whole morning with them in Clark to precisely explain the process. At more importantly, saan ba yung mga loopholes in the DPWH. And we also gave him exactly what recommendations to plug those possible situations. No? And again, very clear to my mind was what I explained to them, no? Yung 5 R's. Right project ba yan? Right cost ba yan? Right quality ba yan? Right on time ba yan? And done by the right people. No? And we also explained to him that during my period and 2010 to 2016, including the time when Secretary Ping was DPWH Secretary, we always made sure that yung ABC, yung amount, total budget for the contract, publicize, hindi sekreto yan. So that people know or bidders know exactly what is the budget, plus minus. Kung you're outside that plus or minus band, then you're considered stray bid, hindi ka tatanggapin. The other information that we gave to DPWH was we adopted an important document as part of the bid submissions of contractors, what we referred to as the integrity pledge. That for you to be able to bid as a contractor, you commit to certain proper procedures, not to engage in corrupt practices. Part of your documents yan. If you don't submit that, we will not allow you to bid. Okay? So very clear 5 R's that we referred to for good governance and anti-corruption.
Ganda nito sinasabi niya, yung importante kasi ito yung details. Hindi lang porket congressman ka, pwede nang i-award sa'yo yung kontrata.
Okay, this was what I felt I had to contribute to ICI, no? Including the recommendations to precisely address saan nangyari yung mga problema. I think you must have heard that during our time, 50 million ang level of authority ng district engineer. Biglang lumobo to 150, tapos yung regional office naging 400, kaya wala nang nakikitang local projects sa head office kung hindi yung foreign assisted na lang. No? China-chap-chap na sa baba. So those were the major recommendations, and I think you must have heard that Secretary Vince has already reduced the level of authority of the district offices and the regional offices. Now, at the ICI level, we also accepted and agreed that because the legal process dito sa Pilipinas, several layers. From prosecution, building of cases, dalayin sa ombudsman to Sandigang Bayan. Medyo mahaba yon. And I kept mentioning, including meetings with the legislators, 2 gold standards for anti-corruption. I will keep repeating this, the ICAC of Hong Kong and the CPIB of Singapore. What is the major change in those 2 gold standards? All in one. Hindi na pasa-pasa. No?
Forward natin yung kung saan yung sinabi niya yung dahilan ng pag-alis niya.
Because precisely of the long legal process, no, where all the agencies were agreed to deadlines. Very appreciative of that ICI on its own cannot solely carry the burden. We need the support of other governments. So please try to understand that it's not that I don't want to serve. It is just that my body and also the stress on my family, we are not used to this heavy stress, including heavy security for the family's safety. So I hope, and I wish that people will understand the reason for my resignation I feel that I've done what I have to do for ICI, but I have to also answer to the needs of my family, family concerns, and my own personal life. I want to get back my privacy. Hindi na ako makagalaw ng hindi na re-recognize sa labas, ano? Kahit na i-AI po niya yung mukha, ganun pa rin, no? So, just to put the record on straight, I have submitted my irrevocable resignation, which takes effect December 15. But I have promised Chairman Andy Reyes that I will make myself available, hopefully not beyond December.
So, ito na nga po yung sinasabi nga po niya dito na kung saan talagang hindi niya nakaya dahil sa dami ho ng stress na natatanggap niya sa hindi lamang po sa sarili niya pati ho sa kanyang pamilya dahil nga po na para bagang binigyan ka ng trabaho na hindi ka naman binigyan ng paraan kung paano mo gagawin yung trabaho mo. 'Di ba? Hindi ka binigyan, sabi nga para kang pinalusob sa gera, na bahala ka na, ikaw nang bahala diyan, ha. Walang barel, walang kutsilyo. Basta lumusob ka lang. 'Yun ang sinasabi niya dito, kaya naman na-stress siya. Halimbawa, eto, merong isang isang tao na pumunta sa ICI na wala namang nangyari, walang silbi. Bakit? Eto, paliwanag ko, ha. Ayan, no. May concert si Charis. Ay, hindi si Charis. Si Sandro pala to. Yan na. Tulak nyo. Sandali, hindi si Sandro itulak. Yung mga nakaharang. Yung mga mikropono, itulak nyo para makita. Di na nakikita, Oy! Dinaig pa pala yung mga vlogger nito, ha. Diba, yung mga vlogger, pagka nagkaanuhan buti, at least kahit pa paano, may galangan pa Ito, wala na.
Thank you everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you everyone. Good afternoon.
Tuwang-tuwa pa siya, nagkakagulo sa kanya. Hindi niya alam, kaya nagkakagulo kasi gustong pasagutin yung issue na siya ay pork barrel king.
First of all, I would just like to say I came here on a voluntary basis so I could help the ICI with their investigation. I was not served a subpoena. I am not subject to any investigation. However, I am willing to give and tell the ICI anything that I might know that will further the investigation. Now, I will not be taking questions for now, but you have my word that after my testimony and after the hearing, I will be facing the media again. Thank you.
Mamaya daw sasabihin niya. Eto ha, take note to napaka-importante nito Sabi niya, pagkatapos daw ng ICI, lalabas siya at kakausapin yung media. Yan na.
Witness now is under oath and ready to testify, Your Honors. Witness may now put down their hand. Sir, the Commission notes that you have sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding. And therefore, please note that this hearing will be recorded both on audio and video. By proceeding, you understand that anything and everything that you say here can and could be used as evidence by this Commission in the pursuit of its functions under Executive Order 94, which includes the use of the recording, transcript, affidavits, and document in this hearing as evidence in any court or legal proceeding. Do you consent to the recording?
Yes, sir. I consent to the recording.
Do you also consent that we live stream this hearing or subsequently air it on a later date on television and other forms of mass media, including social media, in accordance with the ICI live streaming guidelines?
With regards to that, sir, I'd like to defer to my counsel.
For the record, good counsel, can you please state your name and your position?
My name is Attorney Michelle.
Good counsel, may I request, or maybe may I ask for the grounds why you request for an executive session?
Your Honors, we have written earlier.
So pumasok siya, pero may nagpapa-executive session. Kung walang tinatago, bakit kailangan pa na executive session? Tama, mali. Diba? Kung walang tinatago, yung ang isa Yung isang congressman, may isang congressman na kaisa-isang congressman na pumayag na hindi executive session ang gawin. Sabi niya kasi wala naman ako tinatago. O tanungin niyo ko, ano bang problema? Eto, tingnan mo. Bakit siya humihingi ng executive session? Don't tell me, idadahilan mo rin yung dinadahilan ng iba. Ano yung dinadahilan ng iba? For protection. Anak ka ng presidente. Naka-assign din sa iyo ang PSG. Congressman ka pa. Imposibleng wala kang protection. Di ba? So, hindi mo pwedeng dahilan yun. O bakit mo tinatago? Bakit mo inaano yung ano? Bakit hindi ka pumapayag na i-live stream? Live stream ha? Mamaya kasi papaliwanag ko. Kasi sabi niya dyan, pwede na daw ipakita. Pero, iba kasi yung ni-live stream eh. Okay? Iba yung ni-record mo, tapos in-upload mo, baka pag may nasabi kang nadulas ka, ipa-delete mo. O hindi mo ipalabas. Pero, alam mo yon, so sinigurado mo muna na malinis yung pagkasabi mo sa lahat bago ka pumayag na ilabas yung executive session.
To formally request for an executive session because our client here has already submitted himself voluntarily. He would like to share as much information as he can, as candidly as possible. And more importantly, there may be critical information that may be elicited from his testimony, which may jeopardize or compromise further investigation of this commission. So for that reason, we again request that for an executive session for Congressman Marcos.
Sir, do you consent to distribute copies of your sworn affidavits and other exhibits to the public and other forms of mass media, including social media?
Yes, sir, I consent.
Do you confirm that you submitted to the Commission a letter requesting for an executive session?
Yes, sir, we do.
Do you consent that the Commission may share this letter request to the public and other forms of mass media?
Yes, sir.
You may now be seated.
Thank you.
Yun na yun.
With consultation with the other members, the Commission, we grant your request. So we will adjourn the session and go into executive session.
Ayun na. Hayop, ano?
Gago!
Kaya na lang din walang walang katuturan eh, di ba? Ito naman yung sinabi niya after.
Hi, Kong, what did the ICI ask you? And what did you tell them?
Again, I promised that I would face the media after...
Ay! Palengke ba yan? Ito mga media eh. Tapos sasabihin nila, hindi, mas may pinag-aralan ng media kaysa sa mga vlogger. Nagsisimula na yung tao, nagsisigawan pa kayo. Ano kayo, palengke?
Cellphone niyo daw ba yun? Para makuha ka naman.
Thank you. Pinangako ko po sa inyong lahat that I would face the media after my testimony. That I will face the media after my testimony. So I'm willing to take a few questions just to give you an update. Again, andito ako to lend anything that I know that will aid the ICI in their investigation. As I said, wala po akong tinatago, so I am happy to assist them in any way, shape, or form. With regards to how it went, kung ano man ang mga tinanong nila, I have given the ICI full authority if they deem fit to release the video of my testimony.
Yan, Banat Bay, ayan naman pala. Payag naman pala siyang ipakita yung executive session na ginawa nila. Alam mo, kung iisipin mo mabuti, no? Bakit ka pa humingi ng executive session kung payag ka din pala ilabas yung video noong nangyari sa executive session? Isipin nyo mabuti yun, ha? Laliman nyo yung isip nyo. Laliman ninyo yung isip ninyo. Sino humingi ng executive session? Di ba ito? Yan. Yan ang humingi ng executive session eh. Pero pagkatapos ng executive session, sabi niya, I'm giving the ICI full authority to release the video during the the executive session. Oh, payag ka pala eh. Ba't ka pa humingi? Dalawang theory ang maaaring masabi natin yan. Number 1, sinigurado mo talaga muna na hindi ka matatanong at hindi ka mako-corner ng tanong. Sinigurado mo muna kung sip-sip yung mga commissioner. Sinigurado mo muna na maayos yung tanong para bago mo ilabas, naisagot mo ng tama. Kasi kung merong isang luko-luko doon na biglang nagtanong na alanganin sa'yo, baka sabunin mo o pagalitan mo. Anak kayo ng wetig, tatay ko gumawa sa inyo Di ba? Maaring ganon. Yun ang unang teorya. Sinigurado mo muna. Okay? Pangalawang teorya, sa tingin ko, yung mga sagot mo doon ay hindi ka pa sigurado. Ibig sabihin, aside from sinigurado mo yung mga tanong, sinigurado mo rin yung sagot mo. Hindi ka sigurado na makakasagot ka ng tama. Kaya sinigurado mo muna na tama ba yung mga sagot ko? Doon nung na-realize mo, tama, hindi naman ako nag-stutter, hindi naman ako ganon. Dito lang sa interview. Pwede release yan. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, hindi ka transparent talaga. Kasi kung transparent ka, wala kang tinatago, hindi ka takot. Kahit sino pang magtanong sa'yo, kahit nasa opposition pa, kung ikaw ay talagang, alam mo yun, honest, walang tinatago, totoo, hindi ka matatakot. Magpa-live stream, agad-agad. Kaya nga live stream Meron bang live stream na hindi agad-agad? Si Banat ba? Paano rin, Di ba? Sinigurado niya muna na tama yung tanong sa kanya. Sinigurado niya muna tama rin yung sagot niya bago siya mag live stream. Bago niya ipalabas pala sa tao. Ngayon, sabihin niya, kasi alam mo, ganito yan. The reason why is, kaya niya ginawa ito, si Pulong hindi pumayag. Hindi pumayag si Pulong na humarap sa ICI kasi nga po, wala namang flood control project sa Davao City na ghost. Walang quote-unquote nakita ang gobyerno except yung mga kalaban niya tulad ng mga congressman na pinapaimbestiga ng mga congressman sa ICI. Siyempre, wala magawa ang ICI. Ngayon, sabi ni Congressman na Pulong, bakit ako magpapaano dyan? Sino kayo? Wala kayong authority over the Congress. Wala kayong authority over the legislative. At higit sa lahat, wala naman. Nag-iimbento lang kayo, tapos gusto nyo lang kumara para magkaroon ng piyesta. Alam mo naman ng mga Duterte, hindi ganyan sa kanila, yung kanilang trabaho, yung kanilang accomplishment, ang magsasalita para sa kanila. Hindi nila kailangan magpa-cute. Di ba ayaw nila yan Yung ganyang pakit-pakit sa media, ayaw nila yan. Nakuha nila yan sa tatay nila na ayaw yung masyadong paandar. Alam mo yung ginagawa ni BBM? Ngayon, yung ginagawa ni BBM, yung 2018 pa nagsimula yung project dyan napirmahan niyang kontrata. Dyan sa, Bukana Bridge. 2018 pa yun. Pero sino ngayon na nagbida-bida? Di ba si Marcos?
Gago!
Credit grabber ang Grabe talaga. Sana man lang magpasalamat ka. Maraming salamat kay Pangulong Duterte nung panahon niya. Nagsimula ito, na plano ito, nagkaroon ng deal with China. Huwag mo angkinin. Pagkatas yung awayin isipin mo kung gaano kakupal talaga itong gobyerno natin. Pagkatas din yung awayin ng China, ngayon, ikiklaim nyo yung ginawa ng China sa Davao City. Kupal, di ba? Mantakin mo yun. Ganun katindi kawalang niya. Walang walang kadangal-dangal, ika nga. Etong gobyerno natin na ito, kiniklaim pa. Ito, pakinggan ba natin?
So, again, I'm happy for them to do so if they believe that there is no information there that will jeopardize their investigation.
Sir, yung allegations ni dating Congressman Zaldico, natalakay ba siya sa hearing niyo today?
Yes po, tinanong.
Parang puyat na puyat Talagang medyo kumukurap-kurap ang mata. Yung bibig hindi masyadong may pinta. Di ba? Kong, puyat kayo? Nag-party po ba kayo kagabi?
Well, again, I will just repeat my statement that it's pure fabrication and pure lies. It's one that it's a move that reached desperation. It's a political ploy, and I've already attributed it to attempts at destabilization of the government.
Sir, is that all?
DDS na may kasalanan. Yung insertion mo, DDS na may kasalanan yan. Again sandali, linawin natin. Linawin natin. Yung sinabi ni Zaldico insertion nanggaling kay Zaldico. Alam naman natin si Zaldico, kalaban talaga yan, Duterte yan. Diba, isa yan sa pasimuno ng impeachment ni VP Sara Duterte. Isa nga yan nga yung nagdemanda sa akin hanggang ngayon di ba? Hindi kakampihan si Zaldico. Ever, hindi kakampihan. Pero sino sinisi ni Sandro doon? Mga Duterte supporter daw o DDS daw si Zaldico. Pangalawa, yung sinabi ni Zaldico insertion ng batang ito, kinonfirm po yan ng ni Lacson sa Blue Ribbon Committee. Sinabi niya meron talagang insertion na 100 plus, may mga insertion talaga. Okay? At confirm po yan. Ngayon, ang sinasabi nga lang ng, to be fair, sinasabi ni Lacson it's not Marcos or Sandro. Pero there is an insertion. So therefore, kalokohan, nasasabi na imbento lang ng mga Duterte supporter itong mga akusasyon dito kay Sandro. Yun ay kalokohan. Ginawa-gawa nyo yan. Kayo ang nagpahintulot niyan. Tapos isisisi nyo sa mga Duterte supporter. Anong katarantaduhan yan?
Possible. Yung 50 billion, yung scenario na sinasabi ni Kong ko na may 50 billion kang pati sa father mo na inutusan niya allegedly sila speaker.
Honestly, to my knowledge, no, it's not possible.
Why? Why, sir?
Because first of all, the executive has nothing to do with the legislative. And secondly, the allegations are untrue. I did not do any such a thing. Kung nakikita niyo po yung listahan, may mga project dyan sa Davao City nakalista sa Davao City. Alam naman natin sino nakatira doon, ba't ba ako maglalagay ng projects doon? Sana naman pag-aralan nila ng mabuti. But in any case, it's really not worth it. It's like I said, it's just an attempt.
Should the ICI investigate their father? Kasi may mga statements isa.
I don't want to speak on behalf of the ICI. You're gonna have to ask them. Okay? Thank you very much.
Parte na. Alam mo, ito kaya nga mga kababayan, itong ginagawa ng ICI, akala nila nakakaloko sila. Hindi Kaya bumagsak ang ratings ni Marcos patuloy dahil sa flood control controversy. Ito.
Vice President Sara Duterte's performance ratings have held steady while that of President Marcos have been hammered by the flood control scandal.
Salita, hammered. Sabihin, pinukpok, pabagsak. Di ba? Ganon katindi yung pagbagsak ng ratings. Si VP Sara Duterte, kahit tindi ng paninira ng gobyernong ito, kahit yung mga bayarang vlogger niya, mula doon sa bayot na Canada, hanggang doon sa bayot sa Tondo, hindi pala taga Tondo yun. Taga yun, Bulacan ata yun, yung bayot na yun. Hindi, madalas kasi yan dyan sa Tondo naghahanap ng chupageti. Pero kahit anong paninira nila kay VP Sara Duterte, nanatiling matindi ang sabihin, stable ang kanyang trust rating. Pero si Marcos, hammered. Can touch this. Hammer time pala.
The latest survey published by WR Numero, conducted from November 21 to 28, found that public satisfaction for the president has dropped to a new low, with only 21% saying they think...
Ayan o, tinan mo. Tinan natin ha. Wait ha. Chotomate. Lakihan natin yan ha. Lubos na mahusay. 4%. Mahusay, 21%. Ha? 47, lubos na hindi mahusay. Ang inakahihiyan yan. How can you rule a country na merong ganyan na 21% lang ang naniniwala sa'yo? Dapat na talagang ipa-impeach to. Mantakin mo 21% na lang naniniwala sa kanya. Saka nakakita ng ganun. Hindi, kasi alam mo, bakit? Kasi impeachment, it doesn't mean na you're guilty of a crime. No. Yung impeachment is, wala nang tiwala ang taong bayan sa'yo. Yun eh. Hindi yun crime. Okay? So, ano yung mga yun? Tulad itong flood control project na hindi niya napinabayaan niya. Kaya nga 21% na lang yan eh. That's really, alam mo yun, an indication na dapat na ma-impeach itong presidente to. Wala nang tiwala sa'yo ang taong bayan. Mahiya ka naman. Siya kung sa ibang bansa yun, nag-resign na siguro eh. Ito, wala, kapal ang mukha nitong Marcos na to eh.
I think he's done very well. In contrast, Vice President Sara Duterte's numbers have held steady.
Lubos na mahusay, 43%. Grabe, palakpakan natin. Lubos na mahusay, 10%. Mahusay, 33%. Ilan lang ang hindi naniniwala? 23%. Gago! Kitang-kita mo eh. Yung mga tanso lang ang hindi naniniwala sa kanya. Yung mga uto-utot bayarang followers lang ni Marcos ang hindi naniniwala kay VP Sara Duterte. Oy, kayo ang nakaupo. Kayo may kontrolado ng mga yan, ha? Walang kontrol si VP Sara Duterte dyan. Media naglabas yan. Hindi vlogger yan. Hindi yan kinuha sa social media. Baka nga dinoktor pa yan eh. Hindi natin alam, ha? Di ba? Kasi naalala ninyo, sabi nga ni Marcoleta noon, hindi siya naniniwala sa survey. Kasi sa survey, hindi siya pumapasok sa top 12, pero nung pagkatapos ng election, I think top 6 siya o top 5, nakalimutan ko na. Di ba? Sabi niya nga niya, malamang niririg yung, yung survey. Kaya nga, eto, malamang siya malamang. Binawasan pa yung kay VP Sara Duterte. Kasi walang kakayanan ang mga Duterte na magkalikot ng mga survey. Una, tinanggalan nga ng budget, walang ka-budget, walang pera. Yung tatay, pinakulong. Lahat ng panglulungpo ginawa ng gobyernong ito sa mga Duterte. So, wala silang kapangyarihan. Kung meron mang may kapangyarihan, di ko sinabing confirm na nirigo ito, pero kung meron mang kapangyarihan gumawa ng katarantaduhan sa survey, walang iba kung hindi ang administrasyon. And yet, ganito pa rin. Stable pa rin si VP Sara Duterte.
43% approving of her performance. Only 23% said they didn't approve, while 34% said they weren't sure.
Joining us now is Cleve Arguelles, President and CEO of WR Numero, to help us understand the latest WR Numero survey. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Cleve. Thanks for joining us. Nakamute po kayo. We can't hear you. Let's try that again. Good.
Thank you for having me today.
Alright, so let's break it down. Ano ba tong naging pinaka-question ditong sa survey na ito at ito ang lumabas?
Yes, so this is part of our quarterly regular questions that we've filled in our national survey. Tinatanong natin yung ating mga kababayan across the country, how do they describe the performance of the two top officials of the country, the president and the vice president, as they perform their roles respectively. And the results, as you've just discussed is that we find that the president's performance ratings is at its lowest at 21%. This is lowest since we started doing this survey since it took office actually in 2022.
So specifically, when you say yung ratings o yung barometer nito, it's the performance of the president mismo ang bumagsak in general of how he's handling the corruption issues.
Yes, so this is a general question in terms of his performance as a president. But we know that most recently, ang latest developments is that we have this flood control scandal. And in fact, nung last State of the Nation address niya, we did a survey right after it. Nung August, there was a slight bump, may slight increase for the president.
Yeah.
So it actually increased yung kanyang performance from 29% nung April, nag-increase ito to 35% in August. But unfortunately now, because of the same scandal that he himself
grabe, no? After daw yung mahiya naman kayo, yan optics, umakyat bigla yung ratings ni BBM. But nung August daw, nung nakita ng tao na yung kanyang salita ay walang laman, walang aksyon, puro katarantaduhan lang, puro for optics sake, of para lamang sa, alam mo yun, papakyut, para lang masabing may ginawa, nagalit lalo ang taong bayan. Kaya biglang bumagsak. Hammer down.
Yung unang nag-expose, we find that the public is penalizing him, or they're saying that the performance that they've been seeing so far is not up to their standards. So hence the decline to 21%.
Yung sa lines niya of kung saan siya nagde-decline, may impact ba yung mga rallies sa kanyang approval rating?
I think there should be an impact. I think it's very much related because we also actually asked in the same survey that we did, this was fielded 21st to the 28th of November. We asked them whether they support the November 30 anti-corruption protest. And we find that as many as 59% of Filipinos said that they support the anti-corruption protest last November 30. So, if you find 6 out of 10 Filipinos supportive of the protest, I suspect that it has something to do also why they do not like or they're not happy with the president's performance.
Well, I was wondering kung ginawa itong survey also in the days nung lumabas yung mga video statements of Zaldico. And do you think it also affected yung numero ng presidente because of that?
I think that's also a likely case, given that na tutok naman yung ating mga kababayan on the latest developments on the flood control issue. But we also find in the same national survey that we did that actually I think more or less Filipinos now are quite confused on who to really assign blame on or who to really say as the primary accountable or responsible for this anomalous flood control projects. So Filipinos are divided. 31% are saying it's the president himself that should be made personally accountable. But another 31% are saying that it's actually the officials of the agencies involved, DPWH for example, and even the budget department. And another 28% naman, they are putting the blame on the contractors like the Diskaya couple. So I think there's no consensus yet, but definitely for some of us, some of the Filipinos, we find accountability at the president's desk.
Well, it's good that you mentioned that because seeing the survey right now, malaki yung porsyento ng hindi pa sigurado. There's 23%, if I'm not mistaken, doon sa presidential preferences and 30.6% doon sa vice presidential preferences. So what do you make of it? Why do you think na ang laki pa rin, nung hindi pa rin sigurado when in fact we've seen the rallies, etc. And a lot of people talaga are saying things about the whole scandal and seeking for accountability.
Yes, actually, you're right. This is a very important part of the story as well on the popularity ratings of both the president and vice president. That a big number of Filipinos 32% for President Marcos, 34% naman for Vice President Sara, are saying that they're unsure on how to assess their leadership performance so far. And to me, what this tells us is that there's a good number that we can call or describe as the middle forces or the median voter, right? That they're still on a wait and see attitude on how to really assess our top two leaders. And what's interesting here is that for the past quarters that we have been doing this survey, what we find also is that the direction of how Filipinos are moving is that they actually first go to the unsure phase bago sila they change their minds. Halimbawa, if they started being satisfied with the president's performance at the beginning of the year, some of them will start to report being unsure in the next quarter before another quarter that they turned out to be dissatisfied na. So there's that process, I think, that Filipinos are really assessing on the basis of the progress or the lack of progress, if you will, on the issues of the day, including for now the corruption issue.
It's interesting you mentioned yung middle forces, no? Kasi it's been talked about a lot this last 3 to 4 weeks about the tipping point would be the middle ground, no? And well, let's get straight to the point. Sabi nila, mga Pinklawan holds a majority of the pink wave. How critical is this mass kung saan sila papanig in the next few months?
Yes. We also measure in our survey the number of Filipinos that identifies themselves as supportive of specific political factions. We call this the measure of factional partisanship.
Yes.
34% identify as supporters of the Dutertes, so they're the biggest here so far.
34.
15% with the Marcos, 12% with the
Grabe, no? Wala sa kalate. 15 sa 34.
Opposition broadly defined as identified with former VP Leni Robredo, Senator Ontiveros, and Senator Bam Aquino. And then the rest actually, and this is the biggest chunk, 39% saying that they're independents, no? So what's very important here, I think part of the developing political landscape as well is that for the majority of Filipinos, no, they're in this camp, the independent camp, no? So kung ano man yung...
Grabe naman kayo, pinost nyo na naman yan, no? Nakakahiya, 21% alam may gusto kay Marcos. Huwag nyo na may post yan, paulit-ulit. Yung isa,
proposal on how to get out of this mess of the flood control issue, whether, diba, there are calls for resignation, there are calls naman for a transition council, there are calls to tighten the investigation, no, ibang usapin pa, what's happening in the ICI, for example. At least for 4 out of 10 Filipinos, they haven't still, they have yet to make up their mindset who to support, no? So middle forces talaga pa to na nag-aantay who to really support and choose in this fragmented political landscape.
Could it be itong sinasabing independent na to ang mga not really ayaw kay Marcos pero ayaw din kay VP Sara? Pwedeng ganun ba ang pag-iisip nila?
Yeah, in fact, ayaw nila doon sa tatlong major political factions, if you will.
Grabe yung slight ganun nung ano, no? Ito bang 39% na ito ayaw kay Marcos at ayaw kay VP Sara Duterte? Sandali. Tatlo yung binabanggit nung lalaki Tatlo yun eh. Kasama doon sila Leni Robredo, yung mga kakampwet. Itong twist nung isa, 2 lang. Parang sinasabi niya, so ibig bang sabihin nun, ayaw doon sa 2? At gusto dito kay kakampwet? Hindi eh. Ito ang sabi nito, ayaw doon sa 3, ayaw makialam sa politika.
In the country right now, they don't identify with the Dutertes, not with the Marcoses as well, but also not with the traditional opposition. So
yan, malinaw yun yung kakampwet eh. Yung traditional opposition. Kayo talaga, medyo alam mo yun, inangling nung media eh.
They're really saying that out of all these options, I'm saying that I'm not choosing any of these 3, no, and choosing to be independent.
Well, on to the Duterte block naman, Cleve, we see na majority of the percentage doon sa survey ay puro mga Duterte block pa rin. Does this mean na because
Malungkot kayo? Malungkot kayo kasi Duterte pa rin? Ang karamihan ng mga Pilipino, Duterte supporter pa rin? Eto tandaan niyo to. Bakit sasabihin ng iba? Bakit sabihin hindi na pala katulad nung dati na sobrang dami? Basta sabi nating naapektuhan ng paninira nitong mga hindot na mga DDH. Matindi yung paninira ng mga DDH yung talagang galit na galit sa mga Duterte. Di ba? Galit na galit sa mga Duterte dahil, ewan ko kung dahil lang adik yung pamilya nila, nakikinabang yung pamilya nila sa krimen. Galit na galit sa Duterte. Yan ang totoo. Ngayon, kahit todo-todo yung sinira nila si BP Sara Duterte, the mere fact na lamang pa rin si BP Sara Duterte times 2. Ang kasunod niya, tandaan nyo, 15. 34 si BP Sara Duterte, 15 yung kasunod. Tapos yung mga kakampuit, less than 10 ata yun. Nandyan yun mamaya papakita.
As ng porsyento nila even before, na ngayon nakikita natin na kahit bumababa ito, ay mataas pa rin. Yeah. Ganun ba yun?
Yes, so I think it remains, what's clear here is that it remains to be a really big constituency, those who identify themselves as pro-Duterte. And a lot of it really is concentrated in Mindanao, no? Halimbawa, 69% of people from Mindanao say that they are pro-Dutertes. And this is also the region where the number of independents are, it's actually at its lowest then, only 24%. But in the other regions outside of Mindanao, almost half, 45 to 43% are independent. So what you can see here is that the number of Filipinos saying that they're pro-Duterte, it's quite stable because most of it is drawn from a specific region of the country. And sabi nga nila, no, if it's a solid
stable. Yari kayo ngayon. Di pa nangangampanya yung si BP Sara Duterte. Hindi pa nangangampayan. Siniraan nyo pa ng todo-todo yan.
No, then you see that it's really manifesting at the national level. Yeah. Whereas in other places across the country, the support for different factions are quite dispersed, and in fact half of those sinasabi pa nga nila they're independent. Kaya the other factions are smaller compared to the Dutertes. But you can see here also that the other way to look at it is that there are 3 out of 10 Filipinos saying that they are siding or supporting the Dutertes, but the rest, the 7 out of 10, are happy to side with other factions or in fact declare themselves as independent.
Clive, itong away na magkapatid ni PBBM tsaka ni Senator Amy, does it affect the Marcos base per se? And yung traditional Marcos base, kanino napupunta? Sa President or sa kay Senator Amy?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at our survey numbers, and that's kasi that's also an interesting question for me personally, whether Senator Amy Marcos as a sway pa with the Marcos supporters. We asked the question na sino yung tingin nila are the poorly performing senators out of all the incumbent senators. And among the pro-Marcos supporters, the top responses are Senator Jinggoy Estrada, Senator Amy Marcos, and Senator Bato de la Rosa. Magkakadikit sila, 26 to 28%. So I think it's safe to say that the Marcos voters do not necessarily identify with Senator Amy now, no? Given that yun nga, meron silang away ng kanyang kapatid na ating Pangulo.
Kumbaga, it doesn't follow. Anyway, I was
sabi natin mga kababayan. Kaya nga, malinaw doon na hindi paninira yung ginawa ni Amy. Yung ginawa ni Amy na pagbubulgar sa kanyang kapatid sa INC rally ay hindi ho nakabuti para sa kanya. Hindi ho nakabuti sa Marcos family or Marcos name. Yun po ay lalong binagsak sila. So ibig sabihin, hindi niya yun sinabi para siraan yung kapatid niya, umangat siya. Hindi yun. Kasi sinasabi nung ibang mga, alam mo na, yung mga loyalista, yung mga tatanga-tanga dyan, sasabihin nila, ano yan, kaya siniraan para umangat siya. Hindi, wala. Lalong ang it doesn't follow nga Lalong walang nangyari. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? There are other motives, which is simply, gusto niya na pauwiin yung kanyang ading dahil kawawa na, nakikita niya na, baka malapit na. Hindi, according to Amy to ha, hindi ho according to me. Kasi nga, sabi nga, pati breakfast na, yun na binabanatan eh. So, ibig sabihin, talaga may problema na ho. Oh, yun yung sinasabi dito. O, ito pa, tingnan ninyo, ito naglilid si VP Sara Duterte.
Pre-election surveys for presidential elections in 2028. Ayan na, I guess based on our conversation, people can guess who the top name is. We've got Sara Duterte at 33%. Raffy Tulfo is a far second place, just a little over 13%. Yeah. Lenny Robredo is also at 13%.
Wala pa siya kalahati si Tulfo. Alam mo kung ba't bumagsak to si Tulfo? Sa totoo lang kay si Raffy Tulfo, bakit bumagsak? Kasi, di ba, alam ko, tumaas siya noon nung sa senator. Hindi, this is just an objective observation according to what I'm seeing in the social media. Kasi parang, kaya nila nagustuhan si Raffy Tulfo before because they can identify with him pagdating sa mga problema sa pamilya. Pagdating sa Tulfo brand na pinagtatanggol kami nito, pinaglalabang kami nito, di ba yan inaano kami sa mga nang-aapi, nasa opisyal, mga pulis, ganyan ang Tulfo brand Di ba? Lahat sila magkakapatid, ganyan. Kaya lang, nung nanahimik si Raffy Tulfo doon sa Senado, nung pumutok na itong issue ng flood control project, every time na may pumuputok na issue, tas bigla siyang tumitigil along the way, we do not know why, there are accusation, pero hindi natin alam kung sigurado yung accusation na yon. Pero lagi siyang ganon. Para bagang, ito, again this is not my, this is the observation na nakikita ko sa social media. Sinasabi nila, para bang, parang tumitigil, after mong mabanatan yung isang ahensya, titigil ka, walang follow through, walang ganyan. Kaya tuloy, nagtatakay iba. Nababayaran ba yan? Bakit ganon? Yun yung sinasabi, nababasa ko lang ho ito. I cannot comment on this because personally, I know Senator Raffy Tulfo and I cannot comment because sa tingin ko, it would be unfair. It would be unfair if I judge him according to my being, alam mo yun, kilala ko as a person. So, ang akin, I will just tell you what people observe and what I observe objectively, pero bahala na kayo mag-judge. Yun ang nakikita ng tao kay Senator Raffy. Biglang tumatahimik pagkatas bumanat. Dadagdagan pa na itong issue ng flood control project na ang ingay-ingay ni hindi siya nagsasalita dito. Wala siyang binabanatang particular na tao. Hindi siya yung supposedly sana ikaw yung katulad ni Marcoleta na bumabanat dito sa issue ng flood control, hindi nakita ng tao sa kanya yon. Para bang sa dating sa tao nito, nabudol sila. Nabudol sila nung pagkatapos maupo sa Senado, wala nang nangyari. Yun ang sa tingin nila nangyari. And personally, yun din ang medyo katanungan ko sa sarili ko. Bakit tila hindi nagsasalita itong si Raffy Tulfo pagdating sa Senado? 'Di ba? Na supposedly siya yung pinakamatapang dyan nung simula ng kanyang Senate career Siya ang pinakamatapang dyan, pero ngayong issue ng flood control na mas matindi ang pang-aabuso nito sa taong bayan, hindi siya nagsasalita. Bakit? Natatakot ba siya sa Marcos? Kasi alam mo naman, ang lahat ng bagbanggit kay Romualdez at kay Marcos ay kinakasuhan, pinapatanggal, sinususpend, lahat Sisiguraduhin gigipitin nila pag binanggit mo ang pangalan na hindi dapat banggitin. Ayan siguro, malamang, kaya bumagsak siya. O, diba? I mean, hindi naman bumagsak. Kaya siya wala sa kalahati ni VP Sara Duterte kasi tumaas ng 3%. To be fair, tumaas ng 3%. Ibig sabihin, talagang alam mo yun, hindi pa rin siya pwedeng i-compare kay VP Sara Duterte.
Then you got Pongo, and fifth place is Robin Padilla. This more or less corroborates what you've been saying about the Duterte camp gaining a bit of momentum and getting a window of opportunity. But talk us through this. How much...
Kaya lang ang na-observe ko dito, no? Ontiveros, 2.4%. Yan pa naman yung nangangarap Yan pa naman yung kasamahan niya nung ano yung kami na lang ang mag-aayos sa Pilipinas. Oy, mga gunggong, 2.4% lang naniniwala sa inyo. Kayo aga-ayos ng Pilipinas? Gago! Kapal din ang mukha mo no? Kaya nagkaganyan-ganyan yung mukha mo Kapal Anak kayo ng tutsa, Gago! Tuloy.
More do you expect this to change?
Well, the first question is, with all these things happening, aabot pa ba tayo ng 2028?
Naku po, patay tayo dyan. Huwag ganun. Baka masedisyon ka dyan. Sasabihin na naman nila, may isang political analyst na... Hindi, alam mo naman ng ano ngayon, TH na ang gobyerno ngayon. Siyempre, pagka lulong, di ba? Pag lulong ka talaga, TH ka Lulong sa kapangyarihan. Di ba? TH ka
ng kaguluhan sa politika natin. But, objectively speaking, it's not surprising because, as expected, the Vice President still has a solid base of support and still remains to be the favorite on top of the pre-2028 election survey. And, of course, it also reflects the past surveys with Senator Raffy Tulfo coming at the very, low second. But what's surprising here is that the former Vice President and former presidential candidate, now Mayor Leni Robredo, despite the fact of not doing anything political, not being involved in all of this, still has that solid support of, was it 13%, right?
Yeah.
13%. No, so it's either within the margin of error, it becomes 15, it becomes 13, but it never goes below or outside the margin of error. So that means that base of support, the original Pink movement that supported her candidacy, is still there. Now the question is, what will she do with it? Will she decide to have a second run? If not, she should decide early, right? Because whomever she endorses would benefit from that 13%.
Ayan. So sinabi naman nito, nananatili daw si pero alam mo, mahirap yan. Malabo na yan. If I were Leni, wag na siyang tumakbo. Unang-una, ang tindi ng pangarap nung niya yung kakampi niya, kaalyado niya si Ontiveros. Kawawa naman si Ontiveros, di ba? Pangalawa, medyo hirap sa kasaysayan yung yung lumaban na bilang presidente tas natalo tapos mananalo uli. Pwede siguro mangyari yon kung ginawa niya yung Leni Robredo, di ba? Nagnaga siya, inayos niya yung naga, talaga nagkaroon ng asenso sa naga. Ayun, pwede pa siguro siya in the future. But not now. Malabo yan. Hindi mananalo yan. Ang pag-asa lang nila, sa totoo lang ang pag-asa nila si Tulfo. Yan lang ang pag-asa nila. Pero alam mo, medyo napansin ko may napansin lang ako doon Bakit wala si Romualdez doon? Hindi tingnan ninyo. Dahil ba sobrang baba ni Romualdez? Wala, nandun ba? Sorry hindi ko ata nakita Wait Ayun pala, nandun siya. Sobrang baba. Utangin lang niyang 0.8%. Sorry naman. Sorry. Hindi ko nakita. Ayop. Sorry. 0.8% pala. 0.8% pala si Romualdez. Baka pag tumakbo ko, mas manalo pa ako dyan, Ayop na buhay to. Joke lang po. 0.8 pala si Romualdez. So anyway, hanggang dito na lang po muna tayo. Pero yung aking tanong, yon importante yan, Kasi Pasko na. Ang tanong ko para ho sa inyo. Sino itong nag-resign na commissioner ng ICI dahil sa tingin niya nagiging punching bag lang ang ahensya na binuo ni Marcos? Itong naging shock absorber lang nga. Wala namang kaseryosohan kay Marcos na ayusin ng korupsyon. Yan ang interpretasyon natin. Pero sino itong nagsabi na naging punching bag lang kaya siya nag-resign sa ICI? Ayun, no? Ilang araw na lang, Pasko na. 20 days. Ay, hindi, 21 days. 21 days, Christmas na. Kaya yung unang tatlong mananalo, may Noche Buena tayong 500 pesos each. Yun. Unang tatlo, ha? Oh. Kahit apelido, pwede na, Narot. Kahit apelido lang, okay na, ha? Kasi hindi ko ata nabanggit yung full name niya, eh. Kahit apelido lang. Sino itong ICI commissioner na huling nag-resign dahil nga sa kalokohan, dahil sa walang kakwenta-kwentang ICI? Okay, maraming salamat po. Ako po si Banat Bay. Magkita-kita ulit tayo bukas, dito lamang po sa Banat Bay Live.